A shadowed legacy. The Forsaken Pact. In the heart of a vast, ancient forest shrouded in perpetual twilight, an old pact lingered in the shadows, binding the fate of two bloodlines forever. Legends whispered of the Vel'Naar and the Dargent, two clans sworn to protect the world from an evil that had long faded from memory. As generations waned, the details of the pact dimmed, becoming little more than a faint echo in the minds of the living. At the heart of this forgotten tale lay the orbs of eternity, relics crafted by an enigmatic sorcerer in the early days of the world. These orbs, infused with the essence of creation itself, were entrusted to the care of the Vel'Naar and the Dargent, their fates irrevocably intertwined with the future of mankind. The Vel'Naar were renowned for their mastery of shadow and illusion, while the Dargent were revered for their unparalleled prowess in elemental magic. Amidst the dense foliage and the silence that hung heavy like a shroud, an unsuspecting orphan, Alaric, stumbled upon an ancient inscription hidden within the heart of an elder oak. Unbeknownst to him, the dormant magic of the forest recognized him as the last scion of the Dargent bloodline. As he traced the weathered carvings with trembling fingers, an ancient power surged through his veins, awakening memories long forgotten by his kind. Simultaneously, deep in the bowels of the forest, within a dilapidated fortress overrun by twisted vines and malevolent spirits, the last surviving scion of the Vel'Naar, a young and headstrong sorceress named Alara, unearthed a parchment foretelling the return of the orbs of eternity. Ignoring the warnings of her ancestors, she resolved to harness their power to reshape the world according to her own desires. Unbeknownst to both Alaric and Alara, an ancient malevolence, sealed by the original pact, stirred in the depths of the earth, eager to reclaim the orbs of eternity and unleash chaos upon the world once more. The malevolence sent forth its shadowy minions, whispering promises of untold power and everlasting dominion to any who would aid its release. As Alaric and Alara, each unaware of the other's existence, delved deeper into their ancestral legacies, their paths inevitably converged, driven by a force beyond their comprehension. Bound by fate and propelled by a desire to uncover the truth behind their shared inheritance, they set out on a perilous journey through treacherous landscapes and ancient ruins, pursued relentlessly by the agents of darkness hell-bent on preventing their reunion. Through the trials that tested their resilience and the sacrifices that defined their resolve, Alaric and Alara gradually unearthed the truth behind the forgotten pact. With the malevolence closing in on them, they realized that only by uniting the power of the Vel'Naar and the Dargent could they hope to defy the ancient evil and restore balance to the world. In a climactic battle beneath a blood-red moon, as the forces of darkness converged upon them, Alaric and Alara finally embraced their intertwined destinies, wielding the combined might of their bloodlines to shatter the malevolence and reclaim the orbs of eternity. As the forest fell silent once more, bathed in the gentle light of a dawn long awaited, the two realized that the true power lay not in the artifacts they safeguarded, but in the unity of their forgotten bloodlines, bound by an ancient pact to protect the world from the darkness that forever sought to consume it. With the malevolence vanquished and the forest restored to its former tranquility, Alaric and Alara stood amidst the ruins, their breaths mingling with the soft whisper of the wind. The weight of their shared history and the realization of their intertwined destinies hung heavy in the air, binding them in a silent understanding that transcended words. As they gazed upon the orbs of eternity, pulsating with a subdued radiance, they knew that their role in safeguarding the world was far from over. The pact, once forgotten, now rekindled in their hearts, demanded a new era of vigilance and unity between the two bloodlines. Alaric, now aware of his legacy, pledged to uphold the ancient covenant, channeling the elemental magic of the Dargent with newfound reverence and responsibility. Alara, humbled by the consequences of her ambitions, vowed to use her powers to protect rather than manipulate, guided by the wisdom of her ancestors and the spirit of cooperation fostered by their union. In the aftermath of the battle, whispers spread through the forest, heralding the resurgence of the Vel'Naar and the Dargent, their alliance serving as a beacon of hope for a world shrouded in uncertainty. Tales of their valor and sacrifice traveled far and wide, kindling a renewed belief in the power of unity and the resilience of the human spirit. Together, Alaric and Alara founded the Order of the Eternal Pact, an organization dedicated to preserving the balance between light and shadow and to safeguarding the orbs of eternity from those who sought to exploit their power for nefarious ends. Under their joint leadership, the order flourished, drawing together a diverse array of individuals from all corners of the realm, each bound by a shared commitment to protect the world from the encroaching shadows of ignorance and discord. In the years that followed, as new threats emerged and old wounds healed, the legend of the Vel'Naar and the Dargent grew ever stronger, weaving itself into the fabric of a world in constant flux. The Orbs of Eternity, now entrusted to the safekeeping of the Order, served as a symbol of unity and resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of hope and cooperation would always prevail. As the forest basked in the gentle glow of a setting sun, Alaric and Alara stood side by side, their hands clasped in silent camaraderie, their gazes fixed on the horizon, where the future awaited, brimming with possibilities yet to be discovered. In the embrace of the twilight, they knew that their shared legacy would endure, a testament to the enduring power of forgotten bloodlines and the timeless pact that bound them to a destiny greater than themselves. As the years passed, the Order of the Eternal Pact faced an insidious infiltration from within as whispers of dissent and greed wormed their way into the hearts of its members. Dark ambitions, long dormant, began to surface, fueled by the alluring promise of the Orbs of Eternity. Alaric and Alara, consumed by their duties and blinded by their faith in the Order, failed to recognize the shadows that crept ever closer to their sanctuary. Unbeknownst to them, a treacherous faction within the Order, led by a charismatic but malevolent figure, orchestrated a violent coup, seizing control of the Orbs of Eternity and unleashing an ancient malevolence far more sinister and insatiable than the one they had previously vanquished. The forest, once a sanctuary of peace, now echoed with the anguished cries of its inhabitants as darkness descended, corrupting every living being it touched. Alaric, shattered by the betrayal of those he had once called brethren, fought tirelessly to reclaim the orbs, his powers diminished by the weight of his disillusionment. Alara, torn between her loyalty to the Order and her allegiance to the ancient pact, found herself torn asunder, her mind clouded by doubt and despair. The forest, once teeming with life, now withered and twisted under the suffocating grip of the malevolence, its ancient trees contorting into grotesque and malevolent forms. In a final, desperate confrontation, Alaric and Alara confronted the leader of the treacherous faction, their powers augmented by a flickering glimmer of hope that refused to be extinguished. As the clash of magic reverberated through the desecrated forest, the Orbs of Eternity unleashed a cataclysmic energy, consuming everything in their wake. Alaric, his body shattered and soul consumed by the darkness, collapsed into the void, his sacrifice a futile attempt to contain the unleashed malevolence. Alara, her spirit fractured by the horrors she had witnessed and the devastation she had inadvertently wrought, stood at the edge of the abyss, the echoes of her ancestors' warnings resounding in her mind. In a moment of fleeting clarity, she realized that the ancient pact, forged in a time long forgotten, demanded a price far greater than any single life could bear. With a heavy heart and tear-stained eyes, she relinquished her own life force, using the last vestiges of her fading magic to seal the malevolence within the Orbs of Eternity once more. As the forest fell silent, a mournful wail echoed through the withered trees, carrying with it the lament of a world that had borne witness to the depths of human greed and the consequences of forgotten promises. The orbs, now enshrined within a sanctified chamber deep beneath the roots of the ancient oak that had first heralded their existence, lay dormant, their power contained, but their malevolence forever simmering beneath the fragile seal of a shattered pact. The forest, once a bastion of life and tranquility, now stood as a somber memorial to the tragic legacy of the Vel'Naar and the Dargent, their intertwined bloodlines forever tainted by the darkness they had once sought to defy. And as the last rays of twilight vanished beyond the horizon, the world mourned the loss of its protectors, resigned to an uncertain future where the shadows of the past lingered, a haunting reminder of the consequences of an ancient pact forsaken and betrayed.